Greetings! I'm in the middle of bloody nowhere again. Come and join me as I drive back to Brighton. Howdy folks, so I'm somewhere around Newick at the moment, just north of Lewis. Just made a delivery. I'm going to drive back to Brighton. Come and join me as we talk various topics. As always, in my Drive Me videos, I'll timestamp all the various different topics I talk about. So if you want to go down below and skip ahead to your favourite topic, you can do so. What we're going to talk about today? Today I want to talk about a few of my recent videos that I've done. I want to talk about Marina Purkiss and Rees Mogg. I want to talk about can you reason with the hard right. I've had an influx of these sort of folks in my comment sections of my videos recently, with the video that I've done on GB News and ex-army Paz, and I want to discuss can you reason with these types of people. I also want to talk about my local Tory councillor leaflet, which was quite amusing, that came through my door the other day. Voter ID, the impacts on the local elections, and maybe we'll get into the coronation as well. But yeah, starting off, my recent video with Marina Purkiss and Rees Mogg, just reviewing the interview, was really interesting in my comment section, because I think it was quite divided. Some of you guys agreed with my opinion on the video, some of you didn't. If you didn't see the video, just quick summary, I was basically saying that if her aim was to go out and completely destroy Rees Mogg, then she'd done a fantastic job of it. I mean, she just bombarded him with facts, including lies about Brexit, lies that came straight from Rees Mogg, that food will be cheaper, that clothing will be cheaper after Brexit, blatant lies. She attacked him for the EU deal that his great friend David Frost put through, and no one's happy with it. I mean, literally no one. Brexiteers are not happy with this deal, and these are the facts. These are the facts. You can't argue. It's not opinion. These are facts, and she done very well at blasting him with it. The other fact being that the Tory party now can't win an election on economic promises, because the economy is worse than it was 13 years ago when they came into power. They can't win an election on better public services, better education, better NHS, because both of those things are worse since 13 years ago when they came into power. So the only thing they have is culture war and gender politics, and trying to look good on immigration, I guess. And she done fantastic at getting those points across, and she did make him look stupid. But I did take, like I say, it goes what her aim is. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think what happened is all the lefties thoroughly enjoyed it, because it was a great 8-minute segment of Rees Mogg just being looked stupid. So it was very enjoyable for our sakes. But did it change any opinions? And this is what my video was about. You know, you got the GB News audience right there in the palm of your hand. I think the aim of going on a show like that, the aim that Marina Purkiss should have had, is not necessarily to just completely destroy Rees Mogg, but to try and change opinion on these matters with the GB News audience. And that is where I think she fell short a little bit. She did come across quite arrogant at times. She did come across quite patronising, and unfortunately the great points that she made just got lost because the GB News audience were just so sick and tired of her arrogant nature and it's a shame. For me, watching it, it just felt like it was a missed opportunity to really try and get your points off. You know, the facts speak alone. You just need to get the facts. You've got the facts on your side, but you should just do it in a more polite nature. The arrogance and the patronising manner that you were putting across your points, I think, really went against you, and it's a shame because the most, I guess the most frequent, I keep seeing this, vote Green in the country. and it's really interesting. I'll get back to the topic that I was talking about, but on the drive up here I just delivered a sofa to this lady, and she had a Vote Green sign in her driveway. So I mentioned to her, I said, I'm finding this really bizarre. Like, I've come from Brighton. In the city there's Vote Green signs all over. they're everywhere in Brighton, but I'm very surprised to see so many Vote Green signs here in the sticks, in the countryside. What's going on? And she said that there's, a really good friend of the community who's a local Green councillor here, so they're really pushing for her to get elected. So I'll be keeping an eye on this one to see if they get her elected. But anyway, going back to the topic. Yeah, the most prominent comment that I got in that video is, you can't reason with this GB News audience, this hard right audience. They can't be reasoned with, so don't waste your time. Just try and lambast Jacob Rees-Mogg. And to a certain extent, I can agree with that. Like I said, I've had a lot of these sort of people come over to the comment section of my videos recently, with the video that I've done on GB News, and especially the video that I've done on ex-army Paz. And I do get that point of view, because they don't have an argument. They just come over to my channel and they put comments like this. They never actually try and engage and try and talk to you about your politics, or try and debunk any of the points that you make in the video. They just come along and insult you, and try and insult you in the worst manner possible. Now, I do not care about this stuff. I really don't. Internet, the YouTube world is not real life. Okay, I don't care about the opinions of these people. I care about the opinions of my close friends and family. These idiots, these morons, their opinion holds no weight with me. I don't care what they say. But this is the point what some of the viewers were making. That you can't reason with these people, because they can't engage with an actual debate and an intelligent conversation. But I'd have to disagree to a certain extent. Yes, I think overwhelmingly the GB News audience are made up of people like this. It is, but what scares me a little bit is GB News, slowly, it's still not great, but slowly their views are increasing. They have had a few times recently where their sort of mid-evening slot of 7 o'clock has got more views than Sky News. I don't know how trustworthy that source is. I'm always a little bit skeptical, because there's so many different variants with stuff like that. Like live TV, look, another Vote Green party. So bizarre in the country. So bizarre to see that in the countryside. But yeah, I don't know how they're taking those figures. Are they just basing that on TV figures? Because a lot of people watch. You can watch Sky News live on YouTube. You can watch GB News live on YouTube. Are they taking those figures into account? I don't know how trustworthy they are, but it is a little bit concerning that those viewing figures are coming up. And those of you that haven't seen my recent video on GB News, I watched an hour of it, and my God, I mean, I was actually shocked. I haven't watched GB News for quite a while, but I was really shocked at just how bad it is. I mean, the production's terrible, and some of the stories that they got are god awful, but just the way that they cover serious topics like Sudan, instead of actually discussing what's going on in Sudan, they just have a 10-minute wank fest over the SAS operations of getting British diplomats out. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre, that channel, and it is a little bit concerning that if it's true, their viewing figures are going up. But I think it's not solely made up of those sort of folks that we saw in the comment section of my videos, the GB News audience. Yeah, overwhelmingly it probably is, but there are some people that can be reasoned with, and some intelligent people that have been suckered into that. And I think Marina Purkiss would have done better having a much more friendlier approach. I'm not trying to say that I would have done a better job. Of course not. She's a very intelligent woman, and she put the facts across excellently. But I really would have liked to see her just be a bit more polite, because she just handed the moral high ground. She just handed the moral high ground over to Jacob Rees-Mogg, and that is all that his viewers are taking from that. If she'd been polite, they literally have nothing. They literally have nothing at all. But yeah, I mean, this rolls on to my next question then, doesn't it? Can you reason with the real hard right guys like were on my comment section? That bike was a little bit close there. The camera doesn't show how close it is because it's a wide screen lens, so that bike was a lot closer than I actually thought there. Can you reason with these people? I'm coming to the conclusion now. I think a lot of you guys are right. I think it's futile. I've tried a couple of times, but when you get to the real extremes, and the people that I spoke to before, when I've tried debating people on the right before, it is your hard right nut jobs. I mean, this Reverend Simon that I discussed Brexit with and stuff like that, and immigration, it became clear what he was about. I didn't even realise it at the start of the video, but in the middle of the video, when he starts talking about immigrants coming over here and trying to displace the white race, I mean, he generally believed that. I went over on the point, you know. I was like, do you really definitely actually, because I was asking him, if they're not coming to work, what are they coming over here for? And it slipped out, oh, they're coming over to displace us. That's scary, man. I mean, that is literally, there's no opinion in this. That is the exact same language as Hitler, Nazis and the Jews. They're going to displace the white race. It's exactly the same language and it's exactly the same thought process. These people are too far gone. And I've done my recent video on ex-army Paz. Yeah, I've been trying to chat to this guy for ages. We've had a little bit of banter, a little bit of back and forth. He's made videos about me, I've made videos about him. But from the very start, I always wanted to try and talk to him because out of all of the sort of YouTube guys, he was the one that kind of seemed like he had a bit more of a calm nature about him. I think he'd be more capable of a reasonable conversation without talking over me, and he seems like he'd listen. But when you really dive into that, and the sort of comments that I get from his viewers are just disgusting. I just don't think. I think it's futile. I think a lot of you guys are right. You said that it's futile. There's no point, and that's what it's become now. Because Max Rosebeer, a channel that I know you guys enjoy a lot, has always tried to get a debate with a Brexiteer. But the problem is that, I mean, Brexit is so undefensible now that you can't really find someone with logical thinking to debate, because the only ones that are left, the only ones that are still supporting Brexit are these hard right loonies. The only ones. So you can only debate these people. If you want to debate Brexit, you only get the likes of these people to debate. And they're nut jobs. Like I say, some of you look through the comment section of these YouTube videos, ex-army Paz and stuff, and it's the same thing. Like I say, they come over to my channel. I always get influx. I know I don't even have to see the video that he put out about me on my stream. I just suddenly get an influx of these right-wing nut jobs commenting on my videos. So I know exactly. Oh, the sun's back out now. I know exactly when it's happened, when that starts happening. But yeah, they don't have an argument on your politics. They don't have an argument about the topics on your videos. They just insult you. That's all they have. And this is why I don't like it on the other side as well. I think I have to address this and make this point, because I try and steer clear of just calling people gammons, and also I see a lot of people on the left attacking right-wing people with, you didn't go to school, your poor education and stuff like that, and I can't spell. My education is not good at all. I'd much rather stick to the facts. I don't like it when people just assault people on, you know, just calling him a gammon or a knuckle jugging wanker. It's just, you've got the facts on your side. If you've got the facts on your side, you don't need to sink to their level of just abuse. And I try to never get involved with that sort of thing. I've never in my life called someone a gammon. Okay, it's quite amusing to chat between yourselves, that, but you're just sinking to their level. You don't need to do that. You're better than that. You've got the facts on your side. You don't need to just assault, you know, have that sort of talk. But yeah, that's enough on that topic, I guess. Let's move on to other topics. I want to bring up my local Tory council. It's so amusing. The letter came through the door the other day. I don't know whether, I'd like to know whether any of you guys have had the same thing with local Tory councillors. The letter came through. The thing is, like, after I read it, I ripped it up and put it in the bin, so I can't show you, but I went on their Facebook page and you can see it here. The first thing I noticed is the fact that you have to go right down into the small print before you even see that they're a Tory councillor. You know, I got the leaflet from Labour, I got the Lib Dems, massive. The Labour one turns round and it's a bloody big Labour sign that you can put in your window. But these Conservative ones, they're ashamed. They're ashamed to be Conservative. You have to look right down into the small print before you actually see, Windows bit dirty, before you actually see that they're a Tory councillor. I just find it so bizarre. And then you get into the gist of the leaflet, and it's they've got nothing. They've got absolutely nothing. One woman points at a bin, and then she points at some rubbish, which, if you look on the map, I know exactly where those areas are about 2 miles apart. But that's all they've got. Look at this bin, it's empty. Look at this rubbish, it's not in the bin. I mean, I don't know what the council are doing about that. That's just poor citizenship, to just dump your rubbish away. But I had to bring this up. I want to know if you guys have witnessed anything similar with your local Tory council, whether they're just completely hiding the fact that they're Tories because they're ashamed. It's so funny. It's so funny. And you know, local elections, it brings me around to voter ID. I'm going to be really interested in the voting statistics for young people. I mean, local elections and young people don't really go together that well anyway. I mean, if they're going to turn up, they'll turn up for a general election. So the voting figures for youngsters in local elections are going to be very, very small anyway. But I'll be very interested to see if the figures go down, and they will go down. When you're 18 years old, less and less youngsters are learning to drive now as well. They're not getting driving license. Cost of living, can they afford to go on holiday? I mean, how many people from 18 to 20 have got a passport or a driving license? And how many of those who want to vote would actually pay? I know it's free, isn't it? But it pays the taxpayer. We have to pay for it. A free voter ID. Not many. I can tell you this now. And you know why do we not have? You know, you think, well, a student card. If you're a student, university student, you've got student ID. Why is that no good? Oh no, the Tories won't have that. Pensioners, all right. You can have your pension card. That's no problem. We don't want to make pensioners. We don't want to make life for pensioners voting harder, but no, students. It's such bollocks. It's such bollocks, and it's such a waste of money. I've touched on this before, and it drives me mad. I've been seeing a lot of the advertising for this. It's on the radio, it's on TV, it's on YouTube adverts. You know, make sure you got your voter ID. You need to have ID. The laws are changing. How much does that cost? And then, well, we got the figure anyway. The whole figure is 200 million for all things involved with voter ID. The free ID itself, the cost, the advertising, all this sort of stuff, the paperwork, 200 million and counting for each year that they have to produce free IDs for people. And do you know what? It just really makes me laugh when you actually see people trying to justify this stuff. I mean, it's so obviously just a tool for the Tories to stop young people voting. There is no other way there's no other way. Like I always often say, you know, governments have money, they choose what to spend on. Is that really forefront? Is that the most important thing right now to spend money on? Public services are failing. We got endless amounts of strike from public workers, nurses, doctors. Is 200 million on voter ID the most important thing to spend money on? No, of course it's not. But it's the most important thing to the Tories because they don't want youngsters voting. It's just, you know, it's crazy. I'd love to see, you know, some of these people that defend this. Oh, what's wrong with just having ID to vote? We have the council tax enrolment. This works fine. If you live in a house and you're enrolled on the register, give your name and you can vote. There's nothing wrong with that. I also like to see some of these people that defend it. I'd like to, I don't know, fresh in the brain right now. Ex-army Paz who has condoned this before. I'm like, right, what would you rather spend 200 million on? This is what I always think about when the Tories bring out some god-awful stupid policy. You know, what's close to your heart? Maybe veterans, homeless veterans. There's a lot of homeless veterans that really need support, really need help. Are you seriously telling me that you'd much rather spend 200 million on voter ID than help war veterans, military veterans, ex-servicemen that are homeless and hit hard times, getting them back on their feet? Is that genuinely what you want to spend the money on? And that brings us round to the coronation. Quite sweetly, actually. I'm getting good at these links. They're just linking. Coronation. Did I watch it? No. Do I give a shit? No. Is it a waste of money? Of course. When was it even on? Saturday or something? I don't know what the viewing figures are. This is another thing, and I've said this a while back, but I'll say it again. I think that this is a massive own goal from Prince Charles. He's not very popular at the moment, is he? Really, he's not very popular at all. And I think this would have been the perfect opportunity for him to gain a massive amount of respect from the British public. If he just turned around and said, look, we're in a cost of living crisis, you know, everyone is on hard times. I can't justify spending this money on a coronation. I'm going to have a quick, close family, in room, 50 quid job, put the hat on and I'll fuck off and we'll get on with our lives. If he came out and said that, and the money that was going to go on it, maybe if he gave it to a worthy cause, a charity or something like that, I think he'd gain so much respect, and I think he'd gain so much better popular image if he'd done something like that. But he's not going to do it, is he? I mean, he's probably been dreaming of this moment his whole life, and he wants the big charade, he wants the big parade, he wants everyone in the street cheering him on. Was there many people there? Like I say, I really can't give I could not give two shits. I didn't watch any of it. I can't put it on for 2 seconds to find out. But yeah, I just think that's such a massive missed opportunity for him to completely win over favour with the public. I think everyone would love him if he'd done that. 200 million, isn't it? It costs, I think. Is it 200 million? If he put 200 million into, I don't know, take your pick, food banks, homelessness, you know, or apprenticeships for young kids, you know, anything. He'd gain so much respect. He'd gain respect from me, massive. In my opinion on the monarchy might even change if he'd done something like that, but he's not going to do it, is he? He's not going to do it. What's your thoughts on the coronation, folks? Did you watch it? Do you care? Do you think it's a waste of money? What's your opinions on the monarchy altogether? I mean, I'll quickly just say mine. I've always been in the opinion that I'm quite happy to keep the monarchy, but massively scaled down, like countries like Denmark and Holland and stuff like that. And just have your king, your queen. They can have one small wing of Buckingham Palace. Open that whole lot up to the public. get some revenue in. Think of all that money from those American tourists that want to go into Buckingham Palace. We'd make an absolute fortune. And scale it all down. Everyone else in the royal family, even the future king, whoever's next in line, public school, get a normal job, go work in McDonald's. That's what I'm talking about. And then when your time comes, you can go sit in Buckingham Palace. That's my opinion. In a way, I kind of like some of the things that come with the monarchy. I kind of like seeing Boris Johnson going to the Queen and having to bow, and the Prime Minister still having to answer to someone else. I kind of like that in a way. But yeah, I don't think I'd get rid of it completely. I think, you know, not to the extreme of Brexit, but you know, there's a lot that would be involved in sorting that out. A lot of money spent that we could just do without right now. Just scale it right down. It works, it functions. Just scale it right down and save the taxpayer godless, endless amounts of money, and especially not 200 million. When we get a new king or queen, they can have a small private 50 quid and some prawn sandwiches on the side. Oh dear. Yeah, what's your thoughts, guys? I think that's about me done. We're just coming into Brighton now, just over Brighton Racecourse. Till next time, take care.